Let it be said, however, that my lack of success in the dating world is not for a lack of trying. As a woman, and even more so as a cosplayer, I'm constantly inundated with DMs and public advances from the bolder nerds of the world. I ignore 99% of them, but I understand that lost among all those unsolicited pics and requests for lewd cosplay videos, at least 1 or 2 respectful messages from decent men are being overlooked. Maybe. In my ever-hopeful quest for a boyfriend, I recently came across a promising suitor, a fellow cosplayer by the name of Johnny. He didn't just say he was a cosplayer, he had proof. Pictures from multiple conventions as Ash Ketchum, Kakashi, and Edward Elric. He was nice too. We bonded over our shared interests in Pokemon. Our heated discussions about Pokemon turned into sending each other voice notes and having hour-long FaceTimes. Eventually, things went up a notch. Johnny started floating the idea of meeting in person. I wasn't completely opposed, but I was very hesitant. We were on a call one night, and as I was toying with the idea of meeting him, he made another suggestion. We could meet in cosplay. I said that would be a ridiculous waste of effort, to get into cosplay and not even go to a con. Johnny's eyes pierced my soul as I realized what he was suggesting. I felt a rush of conflicting emotions and intense feelings. This wasn't just a meeting between friends. This was a date, and more than just a date. This was a hookup. Johnny said he would be Ash, and I could become his favorite character, Misty. I was still processing it. I had been imagining our meetup as something a tad more tasteful, something either totally platonic or slow and romantic. However, it had been a while since I had any action, long enough to make stupid, rash decisions. Once I decided I was going to do it, I didn't want to wait. I asked Johnny if I could come over to his place that night as he didn't have any roommates. He agreed. I told him to get ready. Then I hung up and started putting Misty together. The whole time, I had this nagging voice in my head telling me not to go through with it for 100 different reasons, but I kept silencing them. What was so wrong with doing something out of character once in a while? Why not live a little? On the way to Johnny's, my heart was pounding. I was so nervous I was getting a headache and sweating through my deodorant. This was dumb. This was so stupid. I knew I should have banged a U-turn instead of some random guy I met on the internet. But I was already there, parked in front of his apartment. I still could have left right then. I could have ghosted him. I could have gone home and cleared my head, then got on with my life. I could have, but I didn't.
Hey, Misty.
Jeez, what's wrong with you? Who opens the door like that?
What are you waiting for? Come on in.
Whoa, stop! I didn't say you could touch me yet, asshole. I'm this close to leaving already.
No, don't run away. I can still catch you. Aw, damn it, I missed.
Johnny, stop this bullshit right now! I get that you're excited, but you need to take this whole Ash Ketchum thing and tone it down a notch. Just treat me like a human being. You know, like you've been doing on the phone?
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Now, maybe we can just take a few minutes to reset, then try this all over again. I know Ash is technically the main character, but Misty is usually the more hot-headed one, so why don't we let me take control?
I have a better idea. You can shake all you want, but in a few more seconds, you'll be mine forever. Yeah, just like that.
Hey, snap out of it! Stop daydreaming and tell me what happened to the girl! How'd she die?
It was an accident, I swear. She said, choke me, so I did. She wanted it, I'm telling the truth. I just went too hard.
You really expect me to believe that after you sat there creaming your pants and smiling like a junkie while you thought about what you did to her? She didn't ask for it. You did it and you're still getting off on it, you sick freak!
Yeah, you're right. Who am I kidding? Johnny Vandenbroek, 28, accused of taking out Shashia Moreau, 20, in what was dubbed the Pokemon murder, was sentenced to life imprisonment. Vandenbroek took out his victim with a special collar which he used during S&M intercourse. He lured Moreau to his apartment with a promise of trading Pokemon figures. However, His goal was to experience an extreme fantasy which ended up turning fatal. Van den Broek admitted he had strangled her during intercourse, which he claimed was consensual. However, the jury called that story completely unbelievable. Based on Shashia's personality profile and the many testimonies, it is impossible that she would agree to do anything with Van den Broek. Earlier in the trial, psychiatrists appointed by the court called Van den Broek a ticking time bomb, showcasing characteristics of a psychopath.
It all started with a shopping trip. I have to take my girlfriend on one every week or so and spend at least $100 on whatever she wants. The one silver lining of this shit show is that I never had to tap my card before it went down. Right as we walked through the doors of the first store, I spotted a certain type of guy engaged in typical behavior, a Pokemon scalper. The fat pedo-looking son of a bitch was face down, ass up, and shoulder deep in the vending machine. It was supposed to only give one random collectible per purchase, but greedy no-life scumbags like him were known for glitching the machine out by blocking the sensor, and getting it to spit out dozens of random collectibles basically for free. Literally, his entire butt crack was out and shining right at the front entrance as he buried his sausage-shaped arm into the dispenser. His gelatinous, unwashed body wiggled and jiggled around while he violated the internal workings of the machine to make sure nobody else in town could get a chance at a rare Pokemon. It made me sick. Unfortunately, while I knew better to say anything, my girlfriend caught on because I couldn't hide the disgust on my face. She also knew exactly what he was doing, and it sent her into a rage instantaneously. Before I could beg her to let it slide and worry about herself, she took it upon herself to intervene. At first, the only thing I could do was get out my phone and start recording. As soon as I hit record, my girlfriend raised her voice and called out the scalper. We approached him swiftly, but I should have known better not to bother. He definitely wasn't a runner. Once we got close, he stood and blocked us from looking at the machine, but his bag was right on the ground, overflowing with blind boxes. He had been at this for a while, yet nobody had been brave or stupid enough to stop him until now. My girlfriend immediately started throwing insults, calling him everything I had been thinking. Fat, ugly, smelly, creepy, all that and more. But I tried to stay focused on the main issue. He was stealing. I said we had recorded him robbing the store, saying the police were already on their way, though that last part was a lie. The police would not care about this. I hoped that would be enough to scare him, but he stood his ground, claiming that he had done nothing wrong, then began lobbing his own insults right back at us. The phone got passed back and forth between me and my girlfriend as the scalper kept trying to snatch it. Suddenly, I saw what I thought would be my savior, the bright yellow uniform of a security guard. I called for his help, but so did the scalper. The guard came up to us, but looked absolutely at a loss, like he had no power to stop this. He was even smaller than me. He wouldn't have been able to fight either of us, let alone break up the fight, in what I'm assuming was a bid to save his own skin. The guard shouted at us to both leave the store. Then he started to run off. I couldn't believe it. This was his one job, and he refused to do it. Initially, I chased after him, but I only got a few steps. The moment I left any space around my girlfriend, that creep closed in on her. Things were going from bad to worse. I didn't want him to lay one fat finger on her, so I was left with no choice. I had to get physical, get in between them, and hope he gave up.
Hey, leave her alone! Just take all your shit and get out of here!
It's too late for that! You ruined my day and now I need a stress reliever!
What? You wanna kiss me? Is that it, creep?
Yeah! Come on, bend over! Let me show you who you really are!
Babe, back up!
Shut up!
Get back!
Suddenly, I couldn't hold myself back anymore, and I shoved that bastard as hard as I could. He went flying and stumbling back, nearly falling onto his ass, but then he caught himself, regained his footing. For a moment, I felt powerful. I put my arms up for a fight, yet as that monster came barreling towards me, I knew I was in deep shit. I tried to stay in it, throwing a few jabs at his face. He took them like they were nothing, and then his fist came down like a hammer. The blow to my head sent me reeling, slamming into the vending machine. I could barely stand, hardly even breathe, but the fight was still going. I was dazed, unable to find any other way out of this other than through it. I went to throw another punch, but it was already over. Next thing I knew, he grabbed me. My head got pinned in a chokehold. He was crushing my neck as he buried my face in his armpit. I was gasping for air, but I couldn't get a breath. Just the body odor of a Pokemon scalper. The one who was beating my ass in public, right in front of my girlfriend, as she recorded the entire thing. I passed out, but when I woke up, I almost wished he had taken me out. The entire world witnessed the most humiliating moment of my life. I was just trying to protect my girlfriend from the fight she started, but I'm certain she'll leave me after watching me get bitched out by the biggest loser on earth. A video involving an alleged Pokemon vending machine glitcher has sparked a heated debate across the hobby after a confrontation at the machine escalated beyond just words. Collectors claim the individual was exploiting the machine, which led to others confronting and recording him. The footage quickly spread online, but now the comments are becoming a battle of their own. Some collectors argue that if someone is allegedly glitching a machine, they deserve to be called out. Others believe that regardless of the glitching allegations, the confrontation crossed a line once things became physical. At this point, the community isn't even debating the glitching anymore. I've been collecting Pokemon cards for as long as I can remember. By the time I was adult with bills to pay, I had more than I could ever need, so I started selling them off. Despite what my dad told me a million times about how they'd all be worthless, the current market is more lucrative than ever. I used to think that was a good thing for me, but I couldn't have been more wrong. Every once in a while, there's a community event nearby. Those are the best places to buy and sell cards, so I make sure I never miss them. I pack a whole bag and set up a little cart with all the best cards I'm willing to sell. There are a handful I will never part with, but lots more that I'm willing to sell to people who want them more. At this particular event, I was hoping to make at least $500. That would be enough to make my life a lot easier for a few months and tide me over until the next big market. However, as the hours dragged on into the evening, I was far from reaching my goal. There were just too many other vendors with better inventories this time around. Few people seemed interested in my meager selection compared to those giants. It showed me I had a long way to go before I could hope to quit my job and do anything like this full time. Then, just as I was about to pack up, a curious couple approached me. They were about my age, perhaps a little older, but very soft-spoken and hanging off each other like they had just started dating. After looking through my stuff for a bit, they hit me with an unbelievable proposition. They wanted to buy my entire stock. I told them that even with a bulk discount, what I carried to the market that day was easily worth at least $3,000. Their counteroffer was $2,500 in cold hard cash. Getting that huge sum of money and all at once and completely untaxed was too attractive to pass up, so I agreed to sell. Unfortunately, they were hesitant to go through with the transaction in public. I tried to be understanding. That's a lot of cash to hand over with all those people around. And Pokemon collectors had garnered a negative reputation involving theft and scalping. Then again, I just met these people. I didn't know if I could trust them, but I had only made a measly $50 for a full day's work, leaving me with little choice if I wanted this day to be worth my time. Reluctantly, I packed all my cards into my bag and began to follow them, leaving the cart until I got back. They said their apartment was nearby. It turned out to be a 10-minute walk, which would be even easier on the way back, when I wasn't carrying all these cards. The apartment building itself, though, didn't fill me with confidence. It was dirty and neglected, with bars on the windows and a bunch of sketchy-looking people hanging around. But at least there were security cameras. I just had to hope they were working. Stepping inside the couple's apartment, things only got worse. They lived in a roach nest. No furniture, no decorations, just piles of garbage to lay in and mysterious stains on the walls. My skin crawled and my nose burned from the smell, but most of all, my stomach turned. Not with disgust alone, but with regret. I had been counting on these people having some amount of money to buy the cards like they promised. Even if they lived in a bad area, they could have been saving up, trying to start their own collection. But once I got close up and personal with how they lived, I knew I made a mistake. I felt the urge to leave right away, but as soon as I looked back at the door, the woman took my hand and begged me to stay.
Please, don't go. What about those cards? Can you guys even afford them?
What are you saying? Do you really think we don't have $2.50?
You're kidding me! $2.50?
Yeah, $2.50. How much could a bunch of kids' playing cards be worth?
We agreed on $2,500.
Baby, I think this bitch is trying to scam us.
Give me that bag! Hey, stop! Hands off! It's mine now! Let go! You're crazy! That's mine! Give it back! No! Don't bother. Get away from me! Get away!
All you had to do was hand her over, and you could have lived.
Coast is clear. Aren't you forgetting something?
God! This bitch is heavy.
Just hurry up.
A 20-year-old Pokemon card vendor, Dominique Camilla Orletegi Kespi, was taken out and robbed in San Diego, Chile, by a couple who lured her into a rented apartment under the false pretense of a card trade and a store opening. On March 12, 2026, Dominique, who was a well-known and active member of the local Pokemon trading card game community, met with Bastian Carvajal, an acquaintance from the local collecting scene. She was lured to an apartment where she was taken out. The suspect's primary motive was to steal her collection of Pokemon cards, which was reportedly worth between 3 and 6 million Chilean pesos. Security cameras showed Dominique entering the building, but only the male suspect leaving. The suspects were seen removing her carrying card of cards, and were caught on camera purchasing cleaning and disposal supplies. Following an extensive missing persons search sparked by her mother, police arrested Carvajal and his girlfriend. They faced charges of robbery with homicide. As of the ongoing investigation, authorities are still searching for her remains.